Hi, my name is Garet Avery. I'm your host at Kana Talk. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Jessica Summers. She is from Focal Point Artistry. She has a Metis background and she does abstract art and she supplies Kana Leaf Cannabis with all her artwork and it's just beautiful. Um, so let's get talking to Jessica. So thank you, Jessica, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to have my pieces displayed both in North Bay and in Ottawa. I think it's great to have that collaboration, especially with another Indigenous art organization. It's great to have that collaboration, and especially because we're so close in proximity, right?
Yeah.
I'm living, yeah.
I like the fact that you are so local, so close that and we have we're in touch most months anyways, talking about certain things. And just recently I had one of my friends from Ottawa pick up two pieces.
Yeah, so I got to talk to her. It was fantastic to be able to talk to her. She's doing some good work out in Ottawa. She has it's called St. Joe's Healing Center. So I was able to talk to her and collaborate with her, and it was so nice to be able to touch base with her and see the work she does. And also, it's great because she's even offered for me to visit the location when I'm out there. So another great collaboration, it's a great place for my pieces to be. These pieces that I create, it's like a piece of me. Every single one of them has a connection to me. It has a connection to the stories. It's a piece of my vulnerability being put on these pieces. So I think it's fantastic that I know where they're going rather than just a Shopify account or with my web page or something. And then, I ship them off, and sometimes I have sentimental value to these pieces. So knowing that they go to a good place and I get to meet the people that are purchasing them, or even have a little chit chat over the phone, it really makes me it fills my spirit.
Yes, I could see that, and just seeing the customers come in and just enjoying your pieces, looking at it, so you could tell that they're really into your art, and it does speak a lot to everybody. Like your pieces, like your water is life piece that you have going. We love that, and we did have a comedy for clean water, and a lucky person was able to grab one of those pieces. So thank you for being able to supply something like that to us. That was great, and being able to open our store to come down from it's Living, right? That you're from? Yeah,
Yeah.
Living, Ontario. So in case anybody doesn't know, Living, Ontario is about what is it, 30 minutes from North Bay?
Yeah, it's about 40 minutes from North Bay. I'm kind of like in between Sudbury and North Bay, probably closer to North Bay.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit closer to North Bay because I took a trip out there to go pick up all the pieces for the store, and such a beautiful place to live where you got nice and tranquil, and I could see how you could get a lot of inspiration where you are. Like right now you're sitting in your art studio, or is that your art studio? Or
It is my art studio. It's
yeah.
quite a mess for a lot of pieces on the go.
Yes, I see that. Here, I'm gonna
Yeah.
show one of the two pieces that are actually going into Ottawa. In case everybody hasn't really got a chance to see these pieces. This one right here. This was beautiful. So that one's gonna be going up. I'll be going there to hang them up for them.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then this piece, the turtle. And the fact that like each one of your art, which people have to realize, it's all personalized. It's all original. Like you're not using a template. You're just going by like what is on, like how do you go through that process? Like look.
You know what? It's really hard to sometimes I'm just images just come to me. I've been painting like surrealism, like realism, animals and the fur and everything for years. So this style is new to me. This style came up probably about, well, right after my infant daughter was born. We adopted our daughter, and I'm a mama bear. I've always been a mama bear, foster mom for many years, and I was so protective over these children, and the feeling of vulnerability with my own child and holding her for the first time and knowing she was mine. That was just like, she was our rainbow baby. Everybody talks about this rainbow baby of some people lose babies and they cross over to the other side, right? And there's in the spirit realm. So for me, she's my rainbow baby. So when I look at the very first image that I created, it's called Mama Makwa. And it's a big standing bear, and she's growling, and beside her infant cub is just sneaking her little head out. And that was the very first piece I created in this design. I didn't think it would take off like this with the bold, bright colors. I didn't think that it was going to be a big, like, it wasn't something that I was doing. It was part of my healing as a mother. And it was a part of my healing as my journey to become a mom, because I'm older. And that piece was just something that I wanted to put in my home. I knew exactly where it was going to go. I know why I was creating it. And then when I shared it on a site, people were just like, yeah, I want to print. I want this. And could you do it on wood? Can you do it on feathers? And they wanted animals. They wanted their clans. They wanted their spirit names. And that's essentially how it started. And everybody liked the 7 colors that I used. And I sat down with an elder, and he taught me about the 7 colors of the 7 grandfather truths. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know it was there, those teachings. I think it was just my ancestors giving me that extra push because I was in a really bad space. Okay. And that's where it is. That's where it is. So a lot of my pieces are, some pieces can be very controversial. So I do a lot of work with Every Child Matters around that whole, when they found the bodies and the graves and stuff. It was really heavy for me. And I've always known that happened because elders have shared with me when I was working. But you just don't realize the impact it has on community and the impact it has on even Indigenous and non-Indigenous people who are stepping forward. And so I started creating some pieces around that issue. And then I started creating pieces around missing and murdered Indigenous women. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the pieces that I create are about the issues that we're facing today, about the Indigenous issues, or it could be issues that I'm facing. Like, for example, I have this huge piece that I'm doing now. I'm really excited about it. It's called Walking Two Worlds. Finding the culture and having to balance learning about the culture being displaced from my land, from my people. And then this colonial, I grew up in white privilege. I'm white, and crossing and trying to learn the culture. And you see this with Indigenous people on res, and their impact is definitely greater than my impact will ever be, because I grew up in white privilege. I have fair skin. And I do know that. I carry that with me. I'm very observant, and I notice those things. Mm-hmm. So to live on res and having to walk the world of the colonial world and those two different worlds. So I'm actually creating a piece on walking the two worlds and how it, when people visually see this, they'll be able to recognize themselves in it. And that's what essentially art is. It's a shared thought. It's an idea, a vision that may not be able to be articulated in a certain way. Some people are non. And to be able to do that, and then people can resonate it with themselves. They put their own vulnerability in, like, I'm putting my vulnerability in this piece, but people will see it a different way in their own thought process and how they.
I could honestly, when you're describing that walking both lines, I could see myself feeling that way at times. because yeah, I'm Aboriginal. I have my status card. My dad's Aboriginal. My grandmother was at Spanish residential school, so she went through all that. However, because my background, I don't look totally native, so most people even, and it is sometimes it comes back and it kind of strikes me when somebody says you're not native, and I'm working on the reserve, and so it's I try not to let it hurt me so much, but it does because it's like I want to be a part of something, but I feel like sometimes I'm not a part of it, and so I see those two worlds, and it's very complicated for some people not knowing exactly where they are, and I could relate to that art piece for sure, like on a
Yeah,
big scale.
I think everybody, Indigenous or not Indigenous, can actually relate to that
Yeah,
piece. Or even if you're Black, if you're Hispanic, you have to walk those two worlds.
for
You're
sure.
we live in a world where it's the majority are white, and walking, it's just something that we have to do. And the LGBTQ or the two-spirit people as well can relate to that, walking in the two worlds. Where do I fit in? How do I fit in?
Mm.
How do you fit into the world where there's so much diversity? So I really I'm really liking having to do this one.
Yeah, I like that.
Shout out to Ontario Council of Arts for this.
Yeah,
So I got a grant from Ontario Council of Arts.
nice.
Wiki Tourism,
Congratulations.
yeah, Wiki Tourism recommended that. So, and I happened to get it really quickly. So I know that, and the piece is going to be intertwined with traditional art forms as well. It's not going to be just painting and canvas. Like there's going to be beading, there's going to be birch bark, there's going to be leather, there's going to be a sash on there, and it's going to be like a 3D art form. So it's going to be a conversational piece. So I'm really looking forward to it because I think this piece will engage people mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually as well. So piece that I'm extremely proud of.
That's awesome. Congratulations on getting that. That's big. Where else could people find your art? Like I've heard in the States, people are buying it. It was funny because my sister from the States a while ago, she shared a puzzle, and I'm looking at this puzzle piece, and I'm like, that piece looks so familiar. And then when I went through some of your art, I'm like, this is Jessica's art. I'm like, and that's what I told you. I'm like, all your stuff is everywhere. Like in Michigan, in the States, like it's crazy. It does that
Yeah,
that must be like so mind blowing. Like your stuff is like touching everywhere, and it's amazing.
yeah,
I love it.
it's actually surreal to me.
Yeah.
And just contacted me last week about Asia and Europe markets,
Wow.
and for me, that's just like I don't even know how to get there. I don't know how to ship. I don't. So it's just a whole different market that I got to get into, right? But it's overwhelming to me when Indigenous people from other countries are contacting me and saying, "Hey, your art resonates with me. How can I get it? And where are you located? And what's your nationality? Like, and it's really interesting. And I love having conversations with people, through Facebook or Instagram or TikTok even. There's been a couple of TikTok people that come out and I've been following you for a while. I'm really excited about your art and your journey, and a lot of young artists too are stepping up and saying, "Hey, listen, how did you learn about your culture? How did you start going about this?" And
Hmm.
it's a lot of people just want to learn about their culture too. So it's a way of not only showing marketing my pieces, but showing the cultural aspect, the teachings that I've been given. That's what's in those pieces. And for me, it came naturally. Like I honestly can't say that it took me a while to get where I'm like I started in 2021 and I am here today and it's 2023. And
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with vulnerability.
Yeah.
content vulnerability, putting yourself out there and seeing where it's going to go.
Yes, exactly. And again, I'm right there. You're taking your art and you're taking that vulnerability and putting on canvas and sharing that with the world, which in itself is inspiring to a lot of people, because it's probably something that you never thought you would ever do or think of or picture yourself in that position. But you're here now, and now you're looking at it, you're being like, I knew you had something in you that could do something so big and impactful. And like that in itself to me is inspiring, because it's helping. It kind of makes me look at myself in my second career, going into this, doing stuff like this, talking to wonderful people like yourself, and putting myself out there in the camera is something very new to me, something I'm not used to. I'm not used to talking in front of, I don't like being like out there, but seeing you doing it and seeing other people like just grasping it and just going for it and just doing it is amazing, and it's inspiring. And I want to thank you for doing that, for sharing your stories and inspiring others to do good stuff, and like helping Water First, because we raised quite a bit of money on that, and we want to thank you for being a part of that, and we are going to be doing it again. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for the community, and for everybody. You're just bringing smiles to people's faces, and it's great. That's what we need in the world today.
Yeah, please let me know if you need another piece for the water. I think it's great that we're raising awareness for the water, especially for Indigenous communities. Anything to do with, like the other day, I got a call from Halifax, and they're getting me to make a challenge coin for their victims unit. It's victims criminal division for children that are victims.
Okay.
So of course, I'm like, what a great initiative, right?
Yeah.
Those little initiatives that are out there, I think it's great to have those initiatives and to support them. Raise awareness, being an advocate, being an ally. Those are all things that I'm really proud to be.
Yeah, good for you. I'm glad we had a chance to connect and meet. I know when we first opened our first store in North Bay almost 3 years ago now. I'm not too sure exactly how. I think my mother found your art piece, bought a bunch right away, like instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And then so when we opened the second store, we're like, let's fill these walls. And so I think she had so much fun picking out art pieces. She wanted to pick everything. She wanted to take it all.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely has a hard time. She had a hard time choosing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when I went there, I'm like, you're like, oh, just pick a bunch. I'm like, where do I start? I want it all.
All the vibrant colors, right?
Yes, it is.
There's so much happening in my poor studio.
Yeah, it has so much diversity, and there's so many stories you could tell by your paintings, and I like it. I love it. But I just want to thank you for joining me today, and thank you for taking the time to speak to us. That gives me a way to introduce everybody to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Chimigwech.
Chimigwech.